Hey there, Daniel Newman, Principal Analyst at Futurum Research, and I'm here at HPE Discover Madrid 2017, and we're going to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart today, digital transformation. And anyone that's read anything I've written or my books knows that I love a good success story. I also love a good story about a company that's been disrupted and put out of business, but I love even more one that's been disrupted and has found its way back. And that's the conversation I'm about to have here with Christian Mastrodonato of Konica Minolta. Christian,
thanks a lot for inviting me.
Say hello to everybody.
Hello everybody, and thanks a lot to Daniel for inviting me.
So we're going to have a little conversation here, but before we do, can you just quickly introduce yourself, tell everybody what you do and for whom, which I kind of already teased.
Yeah, of course. So my name is Christian Mastrodonato. I'm the Chief Technologist for Konica Minolta, and I'm responsible for the technology strategy and solution for Workplace Hub, which is the next generation platform for our company. As a background, a kind of mixed background, a sort of data scientist. I work a lot in IoT, system integration, industrial IoT, that's where I work more. So yeah, actually, I was hired by Konica Minolta to bring a completely different experience and industrial experience to really change. So it's really connected to your digital transformation. If you want to transform, you need to bring from outside new knowledge. That's one of the core things. It's one of the big cores is you have to be constantly changing, constantly adapting and innovating. So we hear the stories constantly. In my last book, I wrote a lot about Blockbuster. Everyone remembers that story. And Kodak, which ironically, you guys share some lineage with, not any ownership, but Kodak being in the camera business. And frankly, a lot of people, if you ask about Konica Minolta, they remember you guys for being in the camera business. That's absolutely that. But I think the nice thing of Konica Minolta is that it's a company is in the market for 130 years, more than that, and we changed many times. And when there was the moment that let's say the camera business was shifting, we shifted and we transformed again, and we shifted into the office business at that time. So I think it's in the DNA of the company itself to understand where the market is going and is going disrupted and change it accordingly. I'll tell you a secret, when I was about 21, I really wanted to get into sales, and I interviewed for a job in the office technology at Konica. They didn't call me back. Oh, really? Man, what a loss. What a loss, right? They lost something, but I probably was for the better for you. Now you're interviewing. I've been mad at you guys forever about that. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So, talk to me a little bit about that, though, because you guys went from the camera business, which has now been wildly disrupted, to the office technology business, which, let's face it, is also seeing pretty strong waves of disruption. Now, some players are still standing, but overall, they've all had to evolve, whether that's going into some IT services, into some sort of managed print services. They certainly aren't just selling big print machines or leasing them anymore. They've changed. What's sort of the big change? Talk about what you guys are doing now. And kind of not only where it stemmed from disruption, but why you guys decided to go that route. Yeah, well, I think there are a few areas for us, let's say, that are peculiar of Konica Minolta. I like that you pointed out that Konica Minolta in the office business is, let's say, is not only the hardware device. We can say the same also in other verticals, because we're in healthcare, in industrial sensing, and in the manufacturing industry as well. But I think for us, the real point of Konica was Konica Minolta is a how can I say, is very strong in the SMB market. So we have more than 2 million customers all over the world, and 95% of them is smaller than 200 employees. So we're really talking that's the fabric of the economy. It's not the company you hear a lot about, but are the company which are running the business of the country where they are. And what we realized is that while Konica Minolta was already shifting towards IT, because what you're doing at the end is that you're becoming an IT company, a software company, even if you don't realize it, just as an incremental innovation. Because as you said, if you want to shift into managed services and so forth, let's say we're becoming an IT company somehow. Talking to our customer, what we found out is that for them, especially for the small businesses, they are constantly crushed between two trends. There is the enterprise IT trend, which is, let's say, this enterprise transformation and big projects to change everything, and the consumer world where IT is going very fast. And they are in the middle, and they can't catch none of the two. And for them, really being able to jump as well for them in the digital transformation, having, let's say, reducing the IT complexity and making easy for them to access any new kind of services is a huge business by itself. In this moment, IT, for small for SMBs, there are no global players. It's usually done for the shop, around the corner, the IT shop around the corner, this kind of thing. So there is a green field for IT companies, and it's our natural, where we are. And there is another element, the physical element. We are there with 2 million of devices. So we own a square meter there with a machine, and our point was, what can we do more? How can we help them to do their business with our assets that is already there? We don't have to, we already own that as a real estate, somehow we like to say, that we are managing there. How can we use that? Then it came the concept of Workplace Hub. But the real point for us is creating something that, they say, why we transform, we help our customer to transform with us. And that's why I think that's one of the most beautiful things that really what get me engaged and passionate of what I'm doing here in Konica.
So what you guys sort of built was a digital transformation as a service for small companies under 200 employees.
That's the point, of course. And for them, that transformation number one is really get IT simplified, because that's the core. IT for them is complex. Think about that as a consumer. I mean, you expect to go to the office and have the same experience where you have all your devices, your mobile phone, everything works very easily. When you are in the enterprise IT is often, let's say, not at that level. And when it comes, and it takes a lot of struggles and efforts and investments for a large enterprise. For an SMBs, they don't have these investments in place, and sometimes they don't even have the people. So what we found out is that, let's say, a large part of our customers, they don't have anybody in charge of IT, or they have only one person. And we may be talking of companies with 100, 150 employees, with doing 10, 20 million turnover, dollar, euros, whatever you want. So it's not peanuts necessarily. Still there is one person. So IT is kind of a neglected thing, is a cost center. They have no control whatsoever what's going on. So how can you enable digital transformation in such a set? It's very complicated, and that's where we are trying to come in, exploiting the fact that we are already there with our devices and trying to provide new services to simplify that.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I was the CEO of a company of just under 100 employees at a period of time, and we had exactly one IT director. And you might have one person that was technical that worked in another department that could help. But my point is that's a very common place to live. And I think with everything as a service, more and more of those companies aren't going to want to make that investment in IT because they're focused on sales, marketing. They just haven't quite crossed that heap where they can justify having more resources in-house. So I think you guys are definitely onto something. So for take a moment and prognosticate, because I only got another minute or so here with you, but what's next? So you guys, what's your roadmap? What do you envision this turning into?
Well, what we really want to do, and it's connected here with the discussion we are with HP and HP Discover, is really to create an hybrid fabric where we can provide, let's say, data as a service. So what we really want to build is the workplace as a service, okay? So it's really, you go there and any asset you want is going to be serviced to you, let's say, with a click of a button. That's the mindset. And of course, that can be extended towards IoT, that can be extended towards hybrid computing. That's what is coming next for us. So, and therefore our customer will be able to say, I want to have my data on-prem, I want to have my data on the cloud, and we can, let's say, manage everything smoothly and decide where everything is stored. And we can connect all the devices in the workplace, really monitoring and have complete visibility of everything is going on in the enterprise. Because it technically is already feasible now. It's just a matter to converge everything in a complete hybrid platform, and that's really the, let's say, the next steps for us. And when that will be done, and that is Workplace Hub, our real vision is what we call the Cognitive Hub, federate all this information with all the artificial intelligence agents that are coming up in the market, that are, if you think about that, or they are very enterprise silos focused, they are consumer focused, and really create a fabric where you can federate all these artificial intelligence agents, and they can really how can I say, somehow talk to each other to create the benefit of the customer. That's really our, let's say, long-term goal. We actually have a name for that. We call it Cognitive Hub. At least that's the name we're giving it to it. And that's definitely where we want, what we are already working now to achieve it.
But you're sort of breaking it into to some sort of silos that can ultimately be put back together. You know, I can imagine, so like mobility as a service, or security, you know, cyber security as a service, so that, you know, well, you call it IT, and you kind of look at, but companies that, hey, I have a concern about security, you guys are there to help them secure their
that's
network.
exactly the point.
That's a really nice way to break it down, and very, very interesting. So thanks, Christian, for taking a little bit of time. I could talk to you for a lot longer. I find this whole digital transformation conversation so interesting, and of course a company like Konica Minolta that could have easily, you know, basically just accepted that the industry had gotten cold and just been another victim. You guys are choosing to reinvent, to take a long history and a strong brand, partner up with HPE, and come back to market, maybe come back even stronger, 3, 4, 5x. So thank you very much for spending a little time here.
Yeah, thanks a lot for inviting me again. Thank you, everybody.
HPE Discover 2017 in Madrid, Daniel Newman, thanks for tuning in. Talk to you more later.